Hello everybody, this is All's Gaming and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Shadows Over Loathing. In the previous episode, we went to Mudhenge in search of meat, only to end up somehow at the wreck of the Longer Fellow, where we must rescue evidently some trapped people from the wheelhouse, which is currently being blocked by a crow. Anyways, 3 outhouses, 2 alike in mysticality, i.e. low to none, and 1 major outlier. On the back of the open stall door is something quite unexpected. Step through the time portal. I haven't seen any of these since Crystal Dream Lake. You step from the outhouse into a beautiful day. The sky is bright and blue, the glistening deck freshly swabbed, and the passengers hale, hearty, and freshly swabbed. You exist in a moment of joy, a frozen tear on a warm cheek. Wow. I have never met Mr. Longer Fellow. Perhaps he is too long to meet. Pencil in hand, the passenger muses over his missives. Read what he's writing. It's a letter in progress. Sneak a peek. Oh, Martha, I was never fit to be a husband so long as my mind was cursed to generate my great ideas. For example, if we toast the cow differently, won't we produce not milk but cheese? Right. I must be free of our marriage if I am to pursue this notion. I trust this clears up why I dove out of the car so suddenly. Somehow I doubt that it is. I don't see a whale on this cruise. I will simply... Simply what? Deckhand stands where that crow was, or rather will. Afraid there's no access to the promenade right now. The stewards are tastefully arranging lunch, and the slightest disturbance could throw off the tastefulness. I think this boat is going to crash. Sea travel is perfectly safe, I assure you. Statistically, it's more dangerous to ride a motorcycle into the ocean. I have to stop this boat. Stop the boat. Captain wouldn't hear of it. He took this charter to show all his guests the time of their lives, and that's just what he means to do. What do you make of Captain Dan? Captain's disciplined, alright, and no mistake. I like to joke that Dan stands for disciplined and no mistake. That's a joke you like to make? Correcto. You transform into a crow in the future? Hope not. Left my crow phase behind in my 20s, like any lad. Well, goodbye. Good cruise to you. Fine day for a crab lunch, eh? I have a much longer boat than this at home. Crown sparkles like the well-brushed tooth of an ice troll. Speak with its owner. Fine cruise, ma'am. Who are you? Who am I? I am multitudes, ma'am. To one, I am one thing. To another, another. To some, I am a riverboat passenger. To others, a countess of the city of clocks. Nice crown. Tiara. Where'd you get it? It was gifted to me by a scientist that sacrificed his heart for a city that had stopped breathing. What city is that? It is dead and buried. Let it remain thus. You seem interesting. Indeed, I bear many curses. Can I have the tiara? I am sure you can possess it, but I do not believe it can be had by anyone. How much for the tiara? It has a price, 100 meat. Cash? That's more straightforward than I expected. I do not tell you what I want. I tell you what the price is. Show her the ruined tiara you found in the hole. What do you make of this? She barely glances at the tarnished double of her glorious crown. I have looked upon my bones before, and I expect I shall again. Oh. Okay. Look, this boat is going to crash. Yes, I think you should not be here when it does. She has not looked at you once this whole time. Okay, I'll buy the tiara. Glorious tiara. Shiny as the hat that wears this crown. Mysticality, moxie, and physical armor. She abdicates the tiara without ceremony. This is a purchase by you of a city from its final countess. Neat. She turns in silence to face the waves. Fine cruise to you. Goodbye. The dreadful crow perks up right as you exit through the outhouse. That beak's good for one thing. It's sniffing out sparkling tiaras. With great agitation, he flaps his giant wings and leaps off the deck right at you. Like a king's sickly second cousin, he wants the crown and he's going to take a shot. Throw it through the time door. With a supernatural whoosh, the tiara is sucked back to whence it came. Undeterred, the crow pursueth. He's gone, lost in time and destined to become his own grandfather. Or yours. What now? Crow is bound and awaits extradition to Sky Court. No need to panic, man. Panic, ma'am. The second I saw that crow lurch from the outhouse, I had him flat on the deck, his wings bound with a secret sailor's knot. You were never in any real danger. Was that crow holding a tiara by any chance? I'm afraid the crow swallowed it in the scuffle, ma'am. Drat. Well, goodbye. Cruise to you. Worth a try to go back for it. These stairs lead to the top deck where normally only those passengers who have lived a virtuous life can ascend. Head on up. Brush and bramble of a crow's nest have claimed the boat's rear end. You always hear about crow's nests on a boat. That, and the crow's hole. Reach inside the crow's hole. Longer fellow ring. What the? Ring to promote in conjunction with regular exercise and a balanced diet. The longening of a fellow makes you longer. I'm kind of curious to see what that does. Huh. It does make us longer. But it ain't that useful. Maze of twisty little crow holes. Reach inside. Crow bouillon. Huh. Crow currencies. Still using the gold standard, bless their hearts, while your government has fast moved to a fiat meat system. Bar of gold engraved with the head of a stately crow. Crows use this for money. And this one? Wheelhouse key. Not the shiniest key you've ever seen, but by crow's standards, it's alright. A giant and ghoulish crow asserts unchallenged dominance over the boat's top deck, and he rules not through love but fear. For what is scarier than a crow? Me. I am. What's that? A human outscare a crow? If you figure a way to do it, then let the rest of us know, would you? For you'd be the first in the history of the world. Flex your arms menacingly. The crow pales like a dolphin at the guillotine and scurries as fast as its giant wings can flap. Allons! Another crow has made its home on the deck in response to your flagrant rummaging of its crow holes. Scare him to death. Okay, that's one crow scared off, but two, not even an actual scarecrow could manage that. Stare into the crow's very soul. Dark crow's feathers run white, and with the last vestiges of his strength, he abandons the deck and communal nest. Hooray! This one looks pretty clever, but the first crow was the deepest. Shatter his mind. Word of a tricksy crow frightener is spreading fast along the boat. Soon the myth itself will evolve in its own life and thoughts. Cellar door is the most beautiful phrase in the world. Say it backwards. Rude Ral S? Crow staggers overboard, grasping at his last scraps of sanity like a sudden tear in a bathing suit. This power of yours, it's one to be used responsibly. Okay. The crow's in a 5-way tie for the biggest bird you've ever seen. Fright the bird. The whole swamp is now fertilized, and it hatches with whisperings of the woman who gobbles up the courage of crows like so much country stew. So mythic is this figure, nobody would believe that you, a mortal, is she, unless you show them. Open your third eye and your bicep. The first farmer to stick a scarecrow in his wheat fields was never really satisfied with his creation. Sure, it worked, but it didn't look like what he'd seen in his mind. The thing he saw, those thousands of years ago, was you. In this moment, you are the scarecrow. You have always been the scarecrow. Yes! Mount for binoculars, though with the binoculars missing, the opportunities for sightseeing are minimal. Also, you're in a swamp. Look through the mount anyways. A few feet out from the riverboat's carcass, Frog is fighting off a heron with a whip. Rarely are you afforded such a close-up view of nature. Huh. Footsteps on Dick. Be it ye, landlubber. Hurrah! Sailors, hallelujah! There's a skeleton hiding in the apple barrel, bobbing along with a few apple skeletons. At last, the wheelhouse. Your compass is going wild. The money must be inside. Crow's got the key, landlubber. Had a spare in here, but we aided one day to stave off cannibalism. Look like the wheelhouse key has come wheel home. What the? The creaks reach your ears before the creaker your eyes. Suspended from the ceiling, this boxy thing given motion lurches left, right, and down, straining at the springs grafted to its back. There's no ship's captain, no passengers, no meat. This automaton. This creature is the only living thing inside the wheelhouse, if you call it living. Who are you? A landlubber in me wheelhouse. 'Tis the day most dreaded by every sailor. A worse fate even than chomping by the chitinous beak of a frightful skilla. I can only guess that the bout's being on land has imbued you with extra powers allowing you to make it this far. Was I not supposed to rescue you from the wheelhouse? I'm afraid ye've been a passenger on me riverboat ruse. Weren't me that needed saving from the steam, the crows, and the bugs, but ye that needed killing by them. What have you done, Dan? A machine I be, landlubber, made to follow instructions. Me instructions were to captain this riverboat and show all those aboard the time of their lives. The time of their lives, you see? Time meaning beginning, middle, and end. To fulfill me task to its letter, I had no choice but to ram the riverboat into a monstrous swamp and terminate every living soul aboard. Right. Some questions? Water away. That's how we say fire away at seas. Any chance you've got a huge amount of meat stashed up here? Meat? Ha! I've no use for it. Wonder why Mudhenge sent me here. Mudhenge? Ye be thinking of Stonehenge, landlubber. Why'd you have to try and kill me? Aye, and ye be alright for a landlubber. Har har. Well, I'm not a passenger. Only teasing, but me instructions require me to show all aboard the time of their life, so once ye boarded the craft, ye became me responsibility. Really, I'd say your quibble is with the writers of me instructions and not with me. So you'll just kill everyone who comes across this boat. Can't promise it, but yar, I'll give it the old college try. Old water college, that is. I'm starting to doubt your command of nautical knowledge. Doubt me command, do ye? Mutinous talk. Shut your land lips. The logic is a little strained. You're whispering land lies, lass. What ye believe to be faulty reasoning is mere misfires in your rotting brain. To me, a perfectly correct creature of logic, and a model sailor to boot. What I've done as a captain be not just logical, but very, very good and smart. You know you've misinterpreted time of your life. Misinterpret? The only miss I know, landlubber, is that powerful mistress we sailors call the ocean. I be a sailor, ye know. If you were a sailor, you'd know your Poseidons and Poseidon'ts. Aye, what of it? I hardly need a lecture on my Poseidons from a land leech. Killing your passengers and crew is, to me, a big Poseidon't. Captain Dan dangles uncomfortably from his rod grafts. Even I, a landlubber, know that. Captain Dan's wooden noggin starts to spin like an owl on a merry-go-round. Do you know less about the sea than a landlubber? Captain Dan's lips spin and spin, threatening to overheat until, instead, he whimpers into non-existence. He feared you the most, Talia. Always did. For all his faults of logic, he fancied himself a sailor to his wooden bones, and it is a tenet of nautical prophecy that the only thing that can kill a sailor is a woman from the land. Search about. It wasn't all a lie, though. The bendy telescope was real. Heals your muscle plus 5 physical damage. Your enemies will never see it coming, getting knocked on the noggin with a bendy telescope, not even if they had access to their own bendy telescope. Let's see. You leave Dan shattered into wormwood food, his anchor laying in automaton hell. No longer shall he menace land or sea if this little patch of swampland is safe once again, if not especially desirable to visit or live. I hope you had the time of your life. Sea captain can only survive so long on land. The ship's radio still broadcasts, though only to an empty derelict riverboat, swearing to the microphone. Despite the radio's limited broadcasting area, the filthy and unprintable words from your mouth blast a horrible smell across the country. And at this exact moment, many miles away, a creature's eyes snap open for the first time. The Federal Radio Commission has been born. Uh-oh. Wheels made of plastic. The boat must have been controlled via Captain Dan's central wooden nervous system. Take the wheel. You got an item, the longer fellow's steering wheel. A traditional wooden ship's wheel in a non-traditional location. Your pocket. I assume to mean take it with you, not take control of the ship. The compass needle oscillates violently in the presence of this console. Turn off the console. Just like that, the needle reverts to its normal function, pointing west. So there never was any meat here. Just some electrical interference confusing your compass? This would never happen at Stonehenge. Alright, well, that is that for the longer fellow. But we're not done with Mudhenge. So, Professor, where are you from originally? Well, I spent most of my life in the eastern colonies. However, I was born in London in 1666, actually. The year of the Great Fire. Not my fault. I was only a baby, after all. Well, I wasn't. Incidentally, were you aware that the majority of damage caused by the fire is born of fear? Fire is merely rather angry and excited air, you see. A firm attitude and unwavering countenance does wonders against it. That doesn't seem real, Professor. I suppose it also helps that I've consumed so much asbestos that my beard is nearly 70% composed of the stuff. But I assure you, attitude is everything. Professor Adams gains 3 hot armor. Anyways, back to Mudhenge. Where did that ticket lady go? With the swamp area now free of the longer fellow's electrical interference, perhaps the compass on the altar is worth another try. Okay, think about meat. The needle swings smoothly, this time to the southern arch. I'm coming, meat. Bad dog's achievement. Where am I? You got into the Cerberus vault. Yes, it is entirely possible. Safety deposit boxes here are unused, except for one in the name of Rahila Mirza. Loot it. Gustav's egg. One of 52 unique eggs created by Gustav. It is said that if the eggs were ever combined, they would form Gustav's omelet and block out the sun. Deal your moxie and physical damage to an enemy and reduce all its stats by 5. Once per fight. Not bad. None of the boxes are locked. Guess they blew the budget on the door. Fabulous Gustav's egg. You thought all these hatched by now. The entire row of boxes is reserved to one bug Fairmont. Open them up. 401 meat. Both beyond measure, assuming a measurement system that ends at 400. This one box here is in the name of Cecil Raleigh Tyrus. Loot it. Dead Sea Scroll. It just says sports over and over. Normally something like this would be priceless, but I bet you'll find a way to sell it. Most of the boxes here appear empty, but there's a very tempting one labeled Calico Ham. Loot it. One woman's trash is another woman's treasure. Not yours, though. Supposedly another woman's treasure. But it sure looks like trash to you. If you deposit the name of Mitchell Vanderyacht. Desiccated moth decays quietly in the drawer. Gross. Let's see, belong to one Spiral Gershwin. Old onion sandwich. Increases your mysticality by 1 of your maximum HP by 5. You don't know precisely how long this was locked away in the safety deposit box, but there's really no good answer. You must have wanted to save it for later. Several of the boxes here appear to belong to Spencer Robespierre. Powdered wig. +1 moxie. Regenerate an extra AP per round. Ooh. Cover up the syphilis sores on your scalp, but make it fashion. Looks exactly like human hair, but you just can't get rid of that goat smell. ER Tidy Man. Roll of duct tape. It's nice to have something practical mixed in with all the riches. Several of these boxes are reserved to one Chelsea Holstein Gottorp. Just looks like Sultan here. Alright, nothing else? Wait. Whoever Mitch Vanderyacht is, he took the trouble to bury a moth in his safety deposit box. Makes you think, though not for very long. I guess that's it. Only thing of value was the wig and the, meat. The impenetrable vault door is secured by a simple latch. Lift the latch. Door is unlocked, and you can come and go as you please. I do please. Open the cash register. Hit some buttons. 3. Drawer pops open. Not the hardest go in the world to crack. Guess not. Search it. Meat lines the drawer in uniform piles. Take it. 19 meat. No wonder the banks are all collapsing if this is all they've got in the till. Is there anything else? Aha! You've always said your eyes were equal quality or better, and here's the proof. There's a tiny button at the back of the register. A secret alarm? Press the button. Celebrate opening Plunkett Street, Ocean City. Well, that's that. Aha! I found you! How'd you find me? Well, after you vanished through that portal, I simply wandered around until I located you again. It is fortunate that I guessed correctly. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, well, anyways, there is something else to take care of back at SIT, and that is heading back to the chemicals lab. Because now that we've used up the barnacle formula a long time ago, we can make something else. Something that will unlock another ending for us. Make something. Mercury, lead, arsenic, and lithium. Decant the mixture into a vial and some tests on various sample materials at the workbench. It appears you made some sort of umbraline annihilating juice. That doesn't seem very useful, at least not for any circumstance you're likely to be in anytime soon. Yeah. No, we are going to keep it. Chemical compound for annihilating umbraline. Leave. Okay. And now back to the big moist. Now that we've taken care of business with the moonshiner, with the longer fellow and the mudhenge, let's head back to the crash site and finally get rid of this stuff. And then we're gonna head for the monster shack, or finally help out the pilot. A flashlight cuts through the trees. The glare passes, and then you see it poking its head out above the canopy. A telescope. Why, you fancied a telescope ever since you were a young girl. You press your nose to the window of the telescope, shop for hours until the proprietor would run out and threaten to tan your glutes with a tripod. And I think you're thinking of someone else. That never happened to you? Funny. It's a pretty universal experience. Not really. Anyway, the telescope's up there in the trees if you want it. Keep going where you were going. Dr. Rhonda. Hello again, Rhonda. I got your fuel cleaned up. No shinola? If there was any in there, I think I got it out. Let's have a look. She opens the can, pours a little into a wine glass, and swirls it around while peering at it closely. Well, look at that. No legs at all. Oh, geez, did I mess it up? No, that's a good thing. It means you got rid of all the water. I don't see any dirt in here either. Nice work. So I guess you're all set then. Looks like it. I got my plane fuel and runway all sorted out. Thanks a ton. I couldn't have done it without you. You know, you could have a career in aviation if you ever decide to give up. What do you do? I'd rather not attempt to explain it. Gotcha. I've had jobs like that. Well, I haven't got any meat on hand to pay you for your time, but here, let me give you this spare flight helmet as a souvenir. One Mysticality, one Moxie, a stylish leather helmet that will help you convince everybody you're a celebrity aviator. Oh, neat. Thanks. You earned it, pal. Keep her flying. Good luck. And there she goes. Okay. Let's head for the monster shack. And start handing in all of these quests. Hey, it turned out you were right. The honey ape is a totally real thing. Oh my gosh, really? I knew it. Here's your tracing back and that fingernail you wanted. Wow. Huh. Something wrong? I guess I'm just torn between excitement, vindication, and the fact that this is a much grislier object than I realized it was going to be. No, don't worry about it. The honey ape will be fine. It had 9 more. Kid pulls out a sash and pins a badge on it and hands it to you. As thanks, here's an official Monster Squad sash. And your first Monster Squad badge. Monster Club sash. +1 muscle. This sash was awarded to you by the Monster Squad. Neat. Thanks. I met the Moss man you were talking about. See, I told you he's real. Yeah, he's a pretty decent guy, actually. He gave me his mustache. Here. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you. You're welcome. Kid happily sticks the mustache to his upper lip. How do I look? Bossy? This is the best day of my life. The kid takes your sash, pins another badge to it, and hands it back to you. And extra mysticality. Hi, did you find the smell of the wisp? Sure did. Please don't open the jar while I'm in the room. That bad, huh? Wonder if it's gotten stronger since I met it. Well, anyway, thanks for your help. You hand over the nose trumpets she lent you in the jar of foulness you collected. The kid takes your sash, pins another badge to it, and hands it back to you. Plus 20% to meat drops. Thanks. Hi, any luck getting a feather from Barbara Yargra? You mean from one of her birds, right? Yeah, right, yeah. She doesn't have feathers herself. We established that. Good. Just checking. Here you go. Ah, thanks, lady. What was she like? She was pretty nice, actually. Don't go in her basement, though. Kid takes your sash, pins another badge to it, and hands it back to you. You can use 1 additional combat item per round. Ooh, this is getting powerful. Kid is appearing near you. Let's see. Hi, did you meet the flyman? Did you get, Yeah, I got it. Here. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna put it in this little silver locket and treasure it forever. What's he like? Was his experiment a success? I've gotta go. Kid takes your sash, pins another badge to it, and hands it back to you. +1 to Moxie. Hey, I cut the chupa naranja you were after. Yeah, well, nearly. I had to tussle with it a bit. Got the job done, though. That's great. Now we have some real proof for why there aren't any oranges in the swamp. Sure. Anyway, here's its nostril. Neat. I'll wear it as a ring. Okay, anyway, don't go near that part of the swamp for a while. It was real mad. And with that, we have completed our Monster Club sash. +5 to maximum HP. These are all pretty good stuff. Let's see, Boris only. This cat had better be Boris, so there's going to be trouble. Try to pet him. Boris hisses at you. He must know you're an outsider. Well, let's try putting on this Monster Club sash. Boris looks at your sash and nods approvingly. Pet him now. Boris's boon. +3 spooky armor. Whenever you get scared, you remember that Boris is watching over you. Nah, I'm gonna keep Talia's boon. But I am losing out on all that extra armor, which is actually pretty good. Especially around here. Alright, with that is taken care of. Where did I want to go next? Let's head for the treehouse. I found a chunk of oil shale just jutting out of a stagnant pool, making the surrounding water all greasy and colorful. Analyze it. Impenetrable shellac. That's a shell about its mother, and it cries tears of shellac. See, a bald cypress is so tough and tall, it's no surprise some fellow has chosen to make of it a tree home. Shout up. Hello? Hey, miss, why don't you keep walking, huh? This here's Will Hunter's treehouse, and the rules is, tain't no grown-ups allowed. You misspelled allowed. What do you want to be so mean for? You're just like all them toochers at school. You know it's not pronounced toochers. Suck eggs. What's up there? Oh, tain't anything. Swear it. You don't want to see. Anyways. Want to use the telescope you've got up there. Afraid that telescope's the property of Will Hunter. Same as my licorice collection. You mean licorice? No, licorice. Wouldn't be called the licorice. Licorice because it tain't made of rice. It's called licorice because you lick it. But I'm saving mine up so I can lick them all at once. How long have you been saving your licorice? I reckon it's been a few months. It's okay to wait a few months on licorice, as long as it's refrigerated good and proper. Have you refrigerated it? It's in my pocket with some ice, so I reckon so. What's your story, Will? It ain't much to tell. Ain't all that interesting, miss, I swear. Not to city folk like you, no ways. I'm not city folk. Ever seen a pig birth? No. Reckon not. Not many pigs giving birth in the city, I hear. What are you doing in a swamp? Nothing special. Same things every boy gets up to, I reckon. Do I want to know what that is? Ain't telling anyways. Can you let me up? No girl ever been up in Will Hunter's treehouse, and I ain't fixing to break that streak. Not for nothing. Just climb the tree. Enough of this. It's time to clasp your robust limbs around the trunk of a wet, shedding cypress and begin to shimmy. Hey now, this is a private treehouse. Stop or I'll tan you till you can't stand up. Take the risk. There's no boy up in this treehouse at all. Only the large and sagging features of a human face sunk into the tree's very trunk. Surely that can't be young Will Hunter. Oh well. I reckon now tain't no keeping you from seeing my plight. I've been wicked, miss. What happened to you? Ain't much to tell. That can't possibly be true. The great tree sighs, shedding scraps of bark that drip to the treehouse floor. Well, you ever hear of a doctor? You know what that is? Yes, well, I know what a doctor is. Rub it in, why don't you? I already told you, Will Hunter never got along with no toochers. I only ever met one doctor, Dr. Wiss. Lived in the same street as my step-aunt. It was one morning, he paid me 6 bits to paint his face, and, well, heck, I swear I was fixing to do it, miss, but I heard there was an interesting trout down the river. A little wider than average, but not very wide. Just the way Will Hunter likes. How can a boy resist? You should have painted the fence, Will. I was gonna, swear it. Anyway, Doc Weiss, you weren't real pleased, and to teach me a lesson, he went and cursed me to be a tree. How did this doctor turn you into a tree? Don't ask Will Hunter, Hal. All I know is doctors. They got all kinds of powerful tools. Tweezers, height chart, could have used anything. What lesson are you supposed to learn from this? That I ought to paint fences I says I'm fixin' to? Can you end this curse? Well, that doctor told me I'd be a tree till I can make good by painting a bunch of fences all around town. Hard enough for me to do it like this, I tell you. I can do that for you. Ah, miss. Paint fences? You wouldn't want to do that. Sure I would. Owen picks up and snaps off a few weak twigs, but Will doesn't seem to mind. Say, that's real swell. Thanks a lot, miss. The doc who cursed me had a nice white picket fence, and he said something like, Will Hunter gotta paint 3 more fences just like this or he'll be a tree forever. Paint 3 fences, got it. You can get my paints and brush out of my knapsack and just hand them to you, but I am a tree. Is there a ladder you can put down? Suppose I can. Tain't a ladder in the way you and I know it, though, but part of the tree that I can sort of waggle around. If I were still a boy, I reckon I'd say it's like my fingers or nostrils. Will Hunter extends his long, arborescent fingers and or nostrils through the hole in the treehouse back to the swamp floor. You should be able to climb down those nostrils now. See you around, Will. Well then. Let's see, empty it out. Will's paintbrush. Take care of those, will ya? That long-handled brush belonged to a grandfather. Your grandfather? Don't think so. I'll keep an eye out for 3 fences. Much obliged. When he reaches a certain age, boy loses his enthusiasm for hoarding rocks in a treehouse. This is called the death of innocence. Alright, well, anyways, on that note, I'm going to end things off here for today. If you guys like what you see, please leave a like, subscribe for future content, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications when I upload, and please, leave a comment down below this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.